And if everyday people that I'm just meeting with are doing this, then so are the leaders of different organizations. So are the leaders of these Fortune 500 companies. So are the leaders of our world. Hello, hello. I am Imani Adia, the founder of Soul 360, where we empower you with the tools and knowledge to transform your mindset and elevate your well-being so that you lead your life with greater clarity and meaning. I'm so excited to be on the mic today because I am digging into my own personal inner work journey. Now, inner work is definitely a journey. It's something that you continue to do as long as you are living. When you start, it's just one of those things you do not stop. And so, what I really want to do today is take a look and at these aha moments that I had at the beginning of my inner work journey, where I was really peeling back the layers of years and years and years of beliefs, those beliefs of, no, I can't do this. I shouldn't do this. For what reason did I have those beliefs in the first place? And the truth is, when I started to do the digging, I realized that I created these beliefs when I was 6 and 7 and 8, and how those beliefs that I created and believed to be true as a child were still impacting me as an adult. Because what happened was I never took time to check in and check out the beliefs that I had and asking myself those questions of, where did this belief come in the first place? Why do I have this belief? And is this serving me to grow? Is this belief serving where I am right now? And if it isn't, then how can we release this belief and at the same time create a new belief to go in place of that old belief? And just doing some foundational work, what do we know? What we know is that your beliefs directly impact your actions. So if you believe that you're a good speaker, 9 times out of 10, you won't have a problem getting up to speak. And on the flip side, if you believe that you're a terrible speaker, when it's your turn to speak, you might start fumbling. You may say, I am uncomfortable. I am not going to do that, because your beliefs are directly impacting the actions that you are taking, even right now. And so, with that being said, I want to dig into how the beliefs that I created when I was 6 years old impacted me throughout the rest of my life and into my adulthood, until I finally stopped the pattern and I was like, hey, this belief isn't serving me, and it's definitely not serving where I want to go and who I am becoming. Right. And so I'll just go ahead and give you all the story and give you the breakdown. So, I was one of those kids who was just always eager to answer the question. Even then, I was a high achiever. It's something that I've just always been. I want to be the best. I love learning. I love this aspect of school where you are continuing to learn and you're continuing to be a sponge and you're continuing to be in community and really grasp and understand information in a new way. And so, of course, if we're really being honest, I think we were literally just answering questions about a story, and I knew the answers. And if I know the answers, then I should say them, correct? And so I was blurting out the answers, right? And it was just one of those things where it was really reactionary when I look back at it. It's not that I didn't want to raise my hand. It was one of those things where it was just like, I know the answer. I know the answer. I know the answer. And my teacher, he told me, he was like, if you blurt out an answer again, I am going to move you to yellow. And if you are familiar, right? Everybody in class, you start on the green light. Green light means good. Green light means go, right? And then if you're in the yellow, that means, you were having a good day, but maybe you had a moment. Maybe you didn't listen. So that's what yellow means. And red means, let's not have this day again. And so you had your green, you had your yellow, you had your red. I was a green type of girl. I stayed on green. Green is where I needed to be because green means good day in my head, in my brain. My teacher told me that he was going to move me to yellow. I think it registered, but it didn't register. Like I said, I think I was just so excited to know the answer, so excited to engage. I really was just on fire about knowing these answers. And time passes, and then all of a sudden I blurt out an answer again. My teacher tells me, you know what? Move yourself to yellow. Yellow felt like the end of the world to me. And in my teacher speaking, telling me not to blurt out the answers, he also said things around, letting other people have the opportunity to speak. Even though all he told me was, make sure you raise your hand when you are speaking. Halfway read the room. You don't take up space, but also leave space for others. And even though that is what he was saying to me at 6 years old, what I heard was there is a limit to what you say. There is a limit to the space that you take up. And even though that's not what he said at all, that is what I perceived, and that is what I heard at 6 years old. Now, how did that impact me growing up? The way that that impacted me is I had this rule where I would not speak up in class more than 3 times. It was just a rule that I had. And really by the second time, I was kind of out because I didn't want to be rejected by my teachers who I respected so much, especially as a child. My parents were really big on respecting adults. And so that was just my vision of the world. It's just you have these people who I respect so much, and I never wanted to be rejected by them. And so to make sure that I never was rejected, I made sure that I never took up too much space. Even if, oh, I knew another answer, or even if I really wanted to add more to a conversation, it was 3 is your max and 3 is really pushing it. You need to open your mouth only 2 times. I think in some ways it allowed me to listen more. And then other ways it definitely restricted my voice. And I carried that throughout my entire life. And I think it's what made me sometimes go in and disengage from people, literally when having a conversation, because my max was 3. I do not need to speak more than 3 times. I do not need to be seen more than 3 times. And I believe that really changed the way that I took up space with other people. And when I was in classrooms, I definitely felt myself shrink. And when you're able to identify those moments when you look back and you notice that you literally shrunk because of this belief I had as a child that made me second guess what I brought to the table, which made me second guess the way that I showed up. And so, on one hand, it makes me very aware of the way that I speak, particularly to children. And then on the other hand, it reminds me that in what I am doing, there has to be a check in with my beliefs, right? And then also a check in with the actions that I am taking and asking myself, why am I taking this action? And so when I realized that this belief that I had at 6 years old impacted the way that I took up space, there was a check that was done. And before we even move on, So with that, with the way that I took up space, I also believe that I seeked out permission to take up space. That's another thing that I want to bring up. And I used to look for other people to give me the yes of you can, you have permission to speak. And now I just take the mic. I'm like, I don't need someone to tell me that I have a green light to go. Of course, I'm older, I'm more aware, I can read the room, but I don't need someone else's permission. I've already been giving permission. But when I realized that there was this belief that I had, I just started to really begin to analyze the moments that I started to shrink. And I also made an agreement with myself that I would no longer allow myself to feel that way ever again. I would no longer allow myself to be in that position. And through that inner work journey, I was able to really understand that the permission was already granted through something much, much higher than me. And so that's what allows me to get on this mic and be able to speak to you all and really share my voice and share the message that has been placed on my heart. And so what I realized for sure when I was like, I made this belief up when I was 6 and it's just carried through. And it was like, you are not the only one. It was in conversations that I started having with people that I realized the actions they were taking was because of something that happened to them when they were younger. And I was just like, oh my goodness, we all do this. We all have these beliefs of us being rejected at a young age, or of us being on the outside, or of us not being able to have that opportunity. So we turn around and we make sure that our children, right, have that opportunity, even though it may not be something that they even want. There's just so many things that we project on to other people and we project out into the world because of these beliefs that we created when we were younger. And I'm just like, it's time for us to sit down with our younger selves. And number one, let them know that it is okay. But also, number two, these beliefs that we created, we are releasing because they no longer serve us. They're not serving us right now, and they're not serving us for where we are about to go. And so, in that aha moment, and in having conversations with people and realizing, oh, they're carrying beliefs when they were a child. And if everyday people that I'm just meeting with are doing this, then so are the leaders of different organizations. So are the leaders of these Fortune 500 companies. So are the leaders of our world. Unless they have done the inner work to let go of these different beliefs. But the truth is, a lot of people don't. And it's because they're not aware that they're carrying these beliefs in the first place. And they're not aware that the actions that they are taking are directly because of the belief that they've been carrying since they've been 6, 7, 8. And so, what am I saying with all of this? I am telling you that it is time for you to check in with your beliefs. Start asking yourself, for what reason do I have this belief? And when was this belief created? Allow yourself to become more aware because awareness is step one, right? It's becoming aware of what you're thinking and becoming intentional about doing the work, the inner work, so that what is happening within it is reflected on the outside. That's all I have for you all today. I really hope that you were able to take something away from this video. And I will leave you with this question, which is, what belief did you make as a child that you have carried into adulthood that is no longer serving you? And so until next time, go be limitless.